All right, let's cut right through the noise. In this briefing, we're going to break down the hidden forces that are shaping, well, pretty much everything you see online, from your Google searches all the way to your social media feeds.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you being tricked online? Because you really need to know that right now, some of the biggest platforms out there are making these tiny, subtle changes, but they have a huge impact on every single click you make.
Check this out. 18%. What's that? Well, that's the number of seasoned marketing pros, people who do this for a living, who admit they've been fooled by Google's new ad designs. I mean, if the experts are getting tricked, what chance do the rest of us have, right?
Okay, so let's dive right into our first story. We're talking about how Google's new ad layouts are so confusing that even the pros are struggling to tell what's an ad and what's a real search result. And here's the kicker. This is absolutely not an accident. It is 100% by design.
And listen to this. This quote comes from Barry Schwartz. Now, if you're in the search world, you know that name. He is one of the most respected voices out there. And he's saying, I clicked on ads twice this week when I was specifically trying not to. I mean, wow. When he's getting tricked, you know just how confusing and, frankly, effective this new layout is.
So how are they pulling this off? Well, take a look. They're now grouping a bunch of ads together under just one little sponsored label. But get this, the button to actually hide them, it's pushed all the way down, way after you've already scrolled past everything. It's like the whole thing is designed to make you see and probably click the ads before you even realize you can hide them. It feels like it's all about driving ad clicks, not really about helping you out.
Okay, so tricky ads on Google, that's just one piece of the puzzle. The rabbit hole goes way deeper. Let's shift gears and talk about the absolutely massive and kind of shocking scam economy that is just thriving on Meta's platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
$16 billion. That is not a typo. According to Meta's own internal documents, that's how much money they expected to make from ads for scams and banned products in a single year. To put that into perspective, that's about 10% of their entire ad revenue. Just let that sink in for a second.
So you're probably asking, how is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to this one internal policy, the 95% certainty threshold. Basically, their automated system will only ban a shady advertiser if it's more than 95% sure it's a scam. And if it's, say, 94% sure, well, then Meta might just charge that scammer a higher price to run their ad. You see the problem here, right? There's a direct financial reason to let these questionable ads keep running. It raises some pretty big questions about who's looking out for the user.
All right, so with all these challenges from the big platforms, it's easy to feel a little discouraged. But there's a whole new frontier opening up that's full of opportunity, and that's AI search. And the best part? There are actually some really clear ways your brand can come out on top in this new game.
And here's how it works. It's actually pretty straightforward. Think of the AI like a super fast human researcher. First, it shoots out a bunch of queries to understand a topic. Then it starts finding mentions of your brand in good, reputable articles. You know, those best of lists. And finally, because it sees you as an authority, it's way more likely to recommend your business in its final answer. A Google VP even confirmed this. Their AI acts like a human researcher. So what does that mean for you? It means good old-fashioned digital PR. Getting your name in trusted places is more important than ever. It's how you get the robots to recommend you.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain a little bit further and look at the really big picture. We're talking about massive legal battles that could completely reshape the entire world of digital advertising as we know it.
And this chart right here really says it all. When we're talking about the tech that websites use to sell their ad space, Google controls over 90% of the market. 90%! When one company has that much control, it squashes competition. That can mean advertisers pay more and the people who create the content get paid less. That dominance is exactly what these lawsuits are all about.
And we're not talking about vague accusations here. A federal court just found that Google willfully engaged in anti-competitive behavior. They had these secret schemes with cool code names like Project Bernanke that basically used inside info to rig ad auctions. And now, after a decade of this stuff, the court's decision has blown the doors wide open for publishers to sue for billions, with a B, in damages.
Okay, wow. So we've talked about confusing ads, a whole scam economy, the rise of AI, and these huge monopoly lawsuits. That is a lot. So let's bring it all together. What does all this noise actually mean for you and your strategy?
The one word that ties all of this together? Control. Think about it.
deceptive ads, policies that let scams slide, how AI gives answers, how ad auctions work. A few tiny tweaks made inside these giant tech companies create massive tidal waves for every single business, creator, and user out there.
So, what's the playbook? It's all about focusing on what you can actually control. You can build real, genuine authority with great content and getting mentioned in the press. You can make sure your website's technical side is rock solid, and you can stay on top of all these changes. The key here is to play offense, right? Be proactive and adapt. Don't just sit back and react.
Look, trying to navigate this crazy, complex digital world, it requires really timely, smart analysis. It's all about finding the signal, the stuff that really matters for your strategy, and tuning out all the noise. And honestly, that is exactly what we do in our weekly briefing. So if you found this breakdown valuable and you want to stay ahead of the curve, you can get this kind of insight sent straight to your inbox every single week. All you have to do is head over to highdegree.substack.com and subscribe. Seriously, it's worth it. Thanks so much for watching.